Hi, and welcome to Run Tall with Tim. I'm Tim, and today I'm comparing two great daily trainers, both by New Balance, their 880 V11 with the 1080 V11. Now, both of these daily trainers feature their Fresh Foam X midsole material, but before I get into it too far, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in the shoes that I'm about to review for you. So let's do that, but then when we come back together, I'm going to take a real close look at the 880 V11 and the 1080 V11 to try to answer the question, which shoe is right for you? Now, this video is not intended to be a full review of either shoe, but if you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description below to reviews that I've completed for each one previously. Also, if you're new to the channel, I post running shoe reviews and comparisons on both Wednesday and Saturday mornings, and that's at 5 a.m. Standard Eastern Time here in the US. I also like to post other videos related to running, but I'm never sure what day of the week that's going to be or even what time of day. So if you enjoy watching running shoe reviews and other videos related to running, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time that I upload new content. Now, both of these daily trainers are neutral road shoes, and I ordered them true to size. Now, the 1080 V11 is the more expensive of the two shoes. It costs $150 US, while the 880 V11 comes in at $130 US. The 1080 V11 is a little bit lighter. It comes in at 9.3 ounces or 265 grams for a men's size 9 on my scales, while the 880 V11 comes in at 10.1 ounces or 285 grams. So I'm going to start to talk about the fit and the feel first of each, beginning with the 880 V11. In here, they used a double jacquard mesh material as their upper. They have plenty of room up in the toe box to be able to splay your toes. I found that to be really comfortable. The toe box does have a bit of stretch to it, so that's accommodating to various foot sizes. I was able to get a nice snug lockdown feeling across the midfoot. As you work your way around to the side of the shoe, you'll notice that they don't have a whole lot going on there in terms of plastic overlays, with the exception of their New Balance logo, and that material maintains its softness to the touch while it does lose a little bit of stretch as you work your way around to the back of the heel. Looking at the 1080 V11 now, here they have a knit stretch material that they're using for their upper. Up in the toe box, again, plenty of room to display my toes, and I was able to get a snug feeling across that midsection of the shoe. The toe box does feature a much more stretchy material. Now, this is a lot of stretch here. And then as you work your way around to the side of the shoe, it does lose that stretch material as you get to the midsection of the shoe. And it also loses that soft to the touch feeling. It becomes much more rigid there. And then we can see in heel counter, they feature their ultra heel design that is more of a neoprene type of material rather than that knit material that they used in the rest of the upper. Now both shoes feature the classic eyelet chain, and each one has that extra eyelet in case you want to run with the runner's knot. Now with the 880 V11, it does not have a gusseted tongue, but you don't really need it. They do have that loop that you can run your laces through to hold that tongue in place. I didn't have any issues with it migrating around. It's also very heavily padded. So all that padding in the tongue and that double jacquard mesh material that they feature in the upper makes this shoe run just a little bit warmer than the 1080 V11 does. The 1080 V11 has a more bootie style construction with that upper, and you can see that it comes up all the way to about the third eyelet on that eyelet chain with that material, and then they move into a semi-gusseted portion there at the top. Also, it was kind of interesting, when I got these shoes, they were pre-laced, and they started out at the beginning of the eyelet chain going up first, and then started their crossover into that classic eyelet chain style that we looked at earlier. Now, with the 1080 V11, the tongue is a little bit less padded than I found with the 880, but it's still very comfortable. And with that semi-gusset and that booty style construction to start, that tongue didn't move at all. But I did find it to be really comfortable. So let's take a look at the padding around the heel collar and tab of each of these. Beginning with the 880 V11, you can see they have plenty of it. Lots there in the heel counter or the tab of the shoe for your Achilles to rest in. I found it to be really comfortable on foot. With the 1080 V11, there's virtually no padding here in the heel counter. Again, they feature that ultra heel style. And in this case, there's really no padding at all, but I did find it to be comfortable to run in. My only issue that I have is when the weather's hot like it is or has been here recently, when you want to wear no-show socks, you got to just be careful that they don't go too no-show, or that top of the collar seems to rub on my ankle and causes a little bit of discomfort. So let's take a look at the heel counter and see how much structure that they have back there. And then with the 880 V11, as I give it the pinch test, it's pretty solid back there. There's a lot of material to help hold your heel in place and give you just a little bit of extra stability that way. With the 1080 V11, as I give this the pinch test, there's a lot less. It's noticeably less material back here, so not quite as much structure to help hold your heel in place, but I didn't have a whole lot of issues with that, although I do feel at times that my heel is a little bit more loose in the 1080 V11 than it is in the 880. Now, another difference between the 880 V11 and the 1080 is this plastic heel clip that the 880 has. Now, it starts at about the beginning of the midsection of your shoe, and it wraps from the medial all the way to the lateral side, and that just adds to that stable feeling that you get when you're running these shoes. So let's turn now and we'll take a look at the midsole, starting with the 880 V11. And here they have a 10mm offset from the heel to the toe, and they really feature two different kinds of foam underfoot. That first or top layer is a more responsive foam, and that's the black that you see here. It starts really in the midsection of the shoe and runs all the way up through to the forefoot, and then underneath that they have their Fresh Foam X midsole material, which is really soft and highly cushioned to run in. They also feature a classic rocker style design, so it's not an aggressive rocker at all. I would consider this shoe to be a really simple design. It's kind of a throwback really in some of the shoes that I've ran in over the years. And then in the heel, you can see that they have a slight bevel that is on the lateral side of the shoe, and I felt like when I was running in these that it gave me a little bit of pronation control as it stabilized my heel through my gait cycle. The 1080 V11 features an 8mm offset, and it's 100% Fresh Foam X midsole material all the way from the heel through to the toe. And you can see that it has an aggressive rocker design to it with a uniform heel bevel. Now, I found these to be really soft, highly cushioned, and pretty smooth through my gait cycle. It is worth noting that all of that soft, highly cushioned, really bouncy feeling that you get with that Fresh Foam X midsole material in the 1080 V11, that some runners have found this to feel a little bit unstable to run in. But as a mid to forefoot foot striker, I felt like it was a highly cushioned shoe that I really enjoy. So let's flip these shoes over and we'll take a look at the outsole, see how they're protecting all of that soft Fresh Foam X midsole material that you have in each of these. Beginning with the 1080 V11 first, here you can see that they have tons of rubber in all of the high abrasion areas from the heel all the way through to the forefoot of the shoe. And it adds a little bit of traction as well as giving you some longevity or durability, making that Fresh Foam X midsole material last. And then as we turn and we look at the 880 V11, you can see that this too also features a ton of blown rubber here from the heel all the way through to the forefoot. Both shoes have these flex grooves to make it feel a little more natural as you move through your gait cycle. With the 880 V11, they have this groove that starts about in the midsection of the shoe and then runs underneath the heel. Although I didn't notice that really playing a big part or role in my performance in these. The biggest difference between the outsole material here is with the 880 V11, it's a much thicker material that they have. I'm going to try to show this to you the best that I can, but you can see just how thick that midsole material or outsole material is. It's protecting that midsole foam with the 880. Now here we'll compare that to the 1080 V11 and you can see that it's a much thinner layer. Although, as we recall, the 880 V11 does weigh a little bit more, and in part it's because of all of the padding that they have in the shoe and the tongue, around the heel collar and the tab, as well as that extra outsole material that they feature in the 880 V11. To sum it up, the 880 V11, now it costs a little less, but it weighs a little more, and it features a double jacquard mesh material that is really soft to the touch. It's comfortable to run in. It has tons of padding in the tongue and around in the heel collar. I would say this is a really classic running shoe design. It does feature two different kinds of foam underfoot. It has a more responsive layer that starts in the midsection of the shoe up through to the forefoot, and then underneath that they have their Fresh Foam X midsole material. It has a classic style rocker design, so it's not aggressive at all, but it does feature a heel bevel on the lateral side of the shoe that makes it feel nice and natural to move through my gait cycle. In contrast, the 1080 V11, now that costs more but weighs less. And it features a stretch knit material. There's tons of stretch up in that toe box, but it does lose that stretch and gets more rigid as you move your way around to the side of the shoe. It has very little padding in the tongue as well as in that heel collar and tab of the shoe, but I did find it to be comfortable to run in as long as I had socks tall enough to kind of cover that section so that it didn't rub so much on my ankles. It features full length Fresh Foam X from the heel to the toe. It's really soft, comfortable, and bouncy to run in. Some runners do find it to feel a little bit unstable, but as a mid to forefoot foot striker, I do like that maximum cushion feel, and these do border on that maximum cushion side of things when it comes to your run experience. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it for you. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.